Hello, welcome to another edition of Between Two Pals. I'm your host, Tom Price, and with us today we have Dr. Alix Davatzes from the Earth and Environmental Science Department.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, why don't you start? What's your Zoom background?
My Zoom background is the Mecca Hills, which are in California. They're between the Salton Sea and Joshua Tree National Park, if you know where that is, sort of in the southern area of California, in the desert. And this is the last place I went before everything shut down with quarantine. Last January in 2020, I had field work out there. And then after that, no more travel.
And so where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago, in the city. I actually grew up right across the street from Wrigley Field.
Oh, wow.
In the city
cool.
there. Yeah.
And were you always interested in your field of study, or did you take a class, or you were inspired by somebody, or you read something?
Well, I always liked science, and when I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And then I enjoyed science, and in Chicago, you don't get a lot of exposure to geology. So I didn't really know what geology was, but then I took a class in oceanography over the summer when I was in high school. And I thought it was going to be marine biology, and I was very excited to learn about sharks. And then I went there, and it was actually a geology course. It was a physical oceanography class, and I loved it. So when I got to college, my first semester, I took some biology courses, and then I also took a geology course just to try it out. And I loved the department and the class. And so then I switched to that.
And where did you go for your undergraduate work?
I went to undergrad at Pomona College, which is in Southern California.
Cool. And did you have any mentors while you were an undergrad?
Yes, actually, one of my mentors from undergrad actually met me in the Mecca Hills last January. Linda and Eric were two professors of mine in the geology department. And the summer after sophomore year, I did research with them on mapping some places on Venus, actually. But yeah, I've been in touch with them ever since. They're still very good friends of mine. And so last winter, Linda came out and worked with me in the Mecca Hills, and we've actually been trying to work on a project and proposal together to do more work there.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then where did you go for your graduate work?
So I went to Stanford University. I stayed out in California for graduate work.
And why did you choose Stanford?
Well, I had always liked biology, as I said, and one of the things that was kind of interesting to me was that in both my biology classes and in my geology classes, I was hearing all of this stuff about the origins of life and astrobiology, and all of a sudden, this sort of like dawned on me, like, we don't know how life originated, and so it became this sort of an area of interest and passion for me. And so I applied to a bunch of different schools for grad school, but at Stanford, there was a professor who worked on problems around the early Earth. And so I was particularly interested in what the environment was like on Earth when life was first starting to arrive. And so I ended up going, and I knew that if I worked with him, I would also get to go to South Africa to do field work, which was also very appealing. Yeah.
Awesome. And so how did you make your way to Temple University?
So while I was still in grad school, I actually started working at NASA Ames Research Center on the high-rise camera, and I stayed there to do a postdoc. So I started working just in my last year of grad school, just doing some hourly work at NASA Ames, because that was the time when the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter was launching and they needed some help getting prepped for that. And then I actually graduated my PhD right around the time it arrived at Mars. And so I stayed on to do my postdoc there. And then during that first year of my postdoc, Nick, my husband, and I interviewed here at Temple, and we really liked it. And so then we just moved here. So I only had actually a fairly short postdoc, just about a year, and then we moved here.
Cool. And what do you like most about Temple students?
What do I like most about Temple students? I like that they work hard. I can't possibly describe how hard our students work all the time, both in and out of the classroom. They're engaged in a lot of different interesting things, and I love hearing what they're doing and what excites them both in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom as well.
And what excites you?
What excites me? Well, travel. Obviously, I love to travel. Travel is pretty exciting for me. I like going new places. I like learning new things. So, which is why being an academic is the best job ever, because you can constantly learn new things. So I guess that's what's exciting to me.
What are some of your favorite places you've been?
So, well, South Africa will always be probably one of my favorite places in the world. And I also really like Australia. I'm hoping I'll get to go back. I was supposed to go back last summer to do field work in Australia. It's in the, I guess you would call it the outback. It's basically the middle of nowhere in Australia, where there are no people or anything like that. And it's just really, it's really lovely because it's so empty and open.
There's a cool place in the middle of Australia. It's called Tom Price.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of.
Yes, it is. That's so funny. That's absolutely true. We actually kept a car there.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
I had to drive it out to the field area from there. So yes,
Very
I know exactly
cool.
where that is.
That's cool. Well, if you get to go back there, I might have to like get you to get like fire department of Tom Price or some kind of like, you know, municipal swag or something. That would be awesome.
It's not the airport. There is an airport there, actually. I don't fly into that airport, but there's another airport there that you can fly into and go to. But it's really close to my field area, actually. Cool. Yeah.
So I want to shift gears just a little bit and talk about, so how did you meet your husband?
So we both were at Stanford together, and I arrived at Stanford, and being a geologist, I figured one of the important skills I needed to have was to learn how to rock climb. And so I went around to some of my friends, my new friends, during the first month of grad school. And I said, I really want to learn how to rock climb. Where do I go? How do I learn? And everybody, like every single person in grad school said, oh, you have to talk to this guy. And so they all pointed me to Nick. And so we met, and I don't know, it was like months later, he finally, after we started dating, actually, he finally taught me how to rock climb. But that's cool. That's how we met in the first place. Yeah.
And what would you say is your main fault?
I'm very messy. I have a messy desk. I have a messy office. I have a messy house. That would be probably one of the big things Nick complains about.
I was going to ask if he would agree with this.
Yes, I'm also obsessively early for everything. Like I have to be 3 hours early to the airport, and nobody likes that. So,
what are you currently reading?
What am I currently reading? I'm reading 2 books, actually 3 books technically. For my class, I'm reading Hidden Figures, but I've got 2 books came in from the library at the same time that I was on a wait list for. One is a Jack Reacher book. I don't even know the title. They all, it's just one of those books. And then A Gentleman in Moscow. And so I just started them, so I don't know if they're any good yet.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh. I'd love a time turner. That's not really a superpower, but I'll consider it a superpower. I would love a time turner. And then I could go back and
see if
have experiences again, or
I thought more for like your research and be like, yes, was this actually what I concluded? Is that really what happened?
That would be so helpful. I could
Yes,
go
it'd be
back
really
and
helpful.
go back to the field. I mean, there's a lot of uses for it. I could go to my kids' games at the same time that I'm supposed to be in a meeting. All kinds of things.
And what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? So I guess for fun, mostly is spending time with my family. I love that. I like to swim. So I go swimming a lot. We like as a family, but I also like to do it with some of the friends from work, is we like to go to Broadway plays. So I love to see musicals. I'm very obsessed. I love musicals.
Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah. So we're going to do something called a rapid fire response. I'll give you 2 words and you just state your preference or pass.
Okay.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Morning or night?
Morning.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Both.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Bert or Ernie?
Bert.
Half full or half empty?
Half full.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on our show today. I greatly appreciate it.